Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Becca and this is a true crime channel. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Today's case is the Missy Bevers case. And this case takes place in Texas and it is still an unsolved case. It has sat with me for a while. I actually lived in Texas at the time of this murder and it wasn't far from where I was, and it was very creepy to say the least. This case just has always sit with me. I feel for her family, I feel for her children, I feel for the fact that nobody has been caught in this case. It's heart-wrenching. But moving forward, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Missy first. Missy Bevers' full name is actually Terry Leanne Bevers. She was born on August 9th, 1970 in Graham, Texas. Missy was a 45-year-old woman who was married to Brandon Bevers for 20 years. They had 3 girls together. And at this time, when she had her girls, she left her job where she worked as a special needs teacher. To Missy, being a stay-at-home mom was more important than having a career at the time. It was important for her to be home with her children and to raise her girls, and her husband felt the same way. Although through that journey of being a stay-at-home mom, at some point Missy decided she wanted to venture off on something that was very passionate to her, and she became a fitness instructor. The way Missy's friends and family describe her is that she is a very passionate, loving human being and a devoted mother. In her 40s, she had decided she wanted to love her body a little bit more, and that meant getting into fitness for her. It was a passion of hers. It was a passion of hers to fall in love with her body again, because as a lot of us know, when you have children, your body changes and sometimes you lose touch of, yourself. So getting into fitness for her was a way for her to fall back in love with her body, and she wanted to be able to give that to other people around her as well. So she started fitness boot camps. So she wanted to teach people how to fall back in love with their bodies as well. So she started a boot camp and it was called Camp Gladiator Fitness Class. Missy was described by her husband Brandon as a God-loving woman. And as far as anybody knew, Missy had no enemies. On April 18th, 2016, Missy went to Creekside Church in Midlothian, Texas. She was holding a boot camp class outside, but because of the weather, she decided to have it inside this day. She arrived at the church at 4:16 a.m. At around 4:35 a.m., Missy was found inside the church with puncture wounds to her head and chest. One of her students found her and frantically called 911. When the police arrived, they realized that there were cameras inside the church, so they instantly went and checked out the cameras. Lo and behold, they found on the camera at about 3:50 a.m. an intruder was inside the church wearing full police tactical gear. They observed this person just roaming around the church with a crowbar or what could have been a hammer and trying to pry doors open, but it just looked like they were trying to set a scene or make it look like maybe it was a burglar, but they didn't take anything and they didn't actually touch or pick up anything. In the beginning, it was thought to be that this was just a burglar and she was in the wrong place, wrong time. But eventually the police noticed that her iPad and her purse were in her car and her car was never touched. And nothing was taken from the church as well. So if it was a burglar, why didn't they take anything? And then also, I'm going to link in the description box down below a full video of this person, and you have to watch it if you haven't seen it already and really look, because they had a distinctful walk, or also known as a gait, and they just walked different. You can tell that there's something going on there. They either have some type of limp or they have maybe a hurt wound that's healing, but either way, take a look at the video if you haven't seen it before. When police started digging into Missy's life, there was a lot of information that was coming up that did make police wonder if she was targeted. One of the things that did come up was that Missy and Brandon were struggling with infidelity. And Brandon has been very open this entire time with the media and the police about this. And he says he was fully aware of it and that it was just a struggle they were going through, like most typical marriages go through struggles, and they were working on it. When going through Missy's phone, police had noticed that she was on LinkedIn and she had some flirtatious and intimate conversations on there that they came across. They also wondered if she was a target because this boot camp was posted on Facebook. So everybody knew that she would be there. They knew that she was teaching this boot camp. So if she was a target, it'd be an easy way for them to find her and find her alone. Police also wondered if maybe Missy had a conversation with this person over the fitness boot camp, and maybe they were planning on coming and found that as a way to communicate with her before her death. A few days before Missy's murder, a friend was told by Missy that she had received a LinkedIn message from somebody and it was creepy. It has never been told what that message was. At least I could not find it anywhere what the description was. And of course, this is still an ongoing open case. So there aren't a lot of things that you can get from the police because they keep a lot of things private. So I don't know what the message actually said, but her friend had just verbally said that it was creepy. She saw it and it was creepy. Shortly after Missy's murder, there was somebody on Facebook who had made a page in Missy's name and was requesting to be friends with Missy's friends and family. Now, Missy's husband was initially a suspect, of course. Right away, you go to the husband first. But he was actually in an annual Mississippi fishing trip. So there's no way he could have done the murder. It's not him. So he actually talked to Missy the night before around 9:30, right before bed. And she was in good spirits and getting ready to go to bed for getting up early to go do her boot camp. So even though Missy's husband, Brandon, was not a suspect, people speculated that his father was. His father does have a distinctful walk. I wouldn't say it's the same one, but he does have something that's a little bit different about his walk. And then there was also the fact that he had brought bloody clothes to the dry cleaners shortly after the murder. Now, this was confirmed later on by police, but his dog had actually gotten mauled. And when he went to go scoop up his dog was of course bleeding and badly hurt. And that's where all the blood came from on his clothes. So shortly afterwards, he was no longer a suspect as well. The morning of Missy's murder at about 2 a.m., there was a car that pulled into a sporting goods store called SWFA Sporting Goods. And this was not far from the church. I will show you right now on a map. It's not far from the church at all, but it was a 2010, 2012, somewhere between those years, Nissan Altima, and it looked to be a light colored car, possibly silver. Police did not get a good enough video to be able to tell what the license plate says, and they have put out for a very long time, they have put out for whoever owns this vehicle to come forward, and they never have. Although the police do want to talk to whoever owned this vehicle and whoever pulled into the parking lot that early morning to see if they did maybe see something or were aware of anything, they won't come forward, and they haven't. They are not a suspect, but the police still would like to talk to them. So what has been gathered as to who the suspect may be? Police have gone back to that video time and time again and looking for clues. And one of the things they did was measure the door frames of the church to see maybe how tall the person was. So they figured out that the person is somewhere between 5'2" and 5'7". They also do not know if this is a male or female, which a lot of people have speculated that they think that it is a female just by the mannerisms. Other people have speculated, I've heard her husband say before that the way the person kind of shoved down the hammer or crowbar, it almost looked like they were using like a tool belt, which is kind of like a man's thing, I guess you could say. So he speculates it could possibly be a man. But other people have said that they see women mannerisms in the walk and the gestures and everything, but they really don't know. They do know that this person is light colored in skin, and that is it. In the beginning, Brandon, Missy's husband, did not believe that this was a target. I think at first it's really hard for anybody to believe that something so crazy and senseless could have been targeted. I mean, you watch these things in movies and you watch them here on YouTube, and sometimes it's hard to believe when it's your own family and it's, you know, the people that are closest to you. It just doesn't seem real. So I think at first he thought that, you know, no way this was targeted. No way this senseless crime was targeted. But as things started unfolding and new details were coming out, I think he realized really quickly that there was a really good chance that this actually was targeted. Missy's mother-in-law actually wrote 2 open letters on Facebook for the murderer. She knew that the murderer is obviously active on Facebook. They're watching, they're paying close attention. So she decided to write 2 open letters to them and put them publicly on Facebook so that she knew that they would read them. I'm gonna read them to you now. Letter to the murderer of Missy Bevers. Do you even realize what you have done to her daughters, husband, or whole family? Was it really worth it? Why did you think this was so necessary? You know who you are. Your husband, wife, and family members know who you are. They know your special walk. Right now, they are as guilty as you are by not coming forward. I honestly pray you do not have children. My granddaughters at least have the knowledge that their mom was a kind-hearted, loving, caring person. You have now ruined your children's life, along with your family's life, by doing this senseless act. We can at least visit Missy's gravesite, even though we have the comfort of knowing she is already in heaven. Your family will get to visit you in prison, forever reminded of your crazy, selfish act. What a legacy you doled out to your family. I will be praying for all of them. I truly feel worse for your family than mine. Please come forward. Give yourself peace. Give our family some peace. Give some honor back to your family. God will forgive you. We will forgive you because we know you know. That is what Jesus has commanded us to do. And then this is the second letter that she had written to Missy's murderer. My second letter to the murderer of Missy Bevers. It has been 2 weeks since I wrote the first letter to you. Almost 3 weeks since you murdered Missy. I would guarantee your life has been more miserable than ours. Our life has been filled with peace that you wouldn't understand. Something only a God-fearing, saved by Jesus person truly understands. We have been blessed by so many wonderful people willing to share our grief by praying with us, preparing meals for her family, and just blessing us with all of their actions in so many ways. How about you? Are you feeling all the love from your family and friends? Or do they suspect you? Thinking something is not right with you. How did it make you feel when so many people all over this nation said such glowing things about Missy? You probably sat back and thought, how little do they really know her? I assume you were jumping up and down when the news about her life was not as perfect as a lot of people thought. Well, let me tell you a little secret you may not comprehend. No, she wasn't perfect, and she never claimed to be. But the secret is, there is something called agape love. Meaning there really is a love you have, that no matter what you have done in the past or present, you still love them. I know her husband does. I know her 3 girls, her mom, her brothers, all her family and friends. Sorry, there is nothing that can ever change that. I'm sure that disappoints you, but it's the truth. Are you getting a bit nervous, shaking in your boots that look too big? You should be. It's just a matter of time now. Things would be a lot easier on you to just go ahead and turn yourself in. I'm sure the officials will take that into account. Go ahead and clear your conscience. You will feel better. No sense in having your family witness you being picked up by the police and leaving that lasting vision in their minds forever. We are all waiting. It's one way or the other. So like I said, both of these were written by Missy's mother-in-law. And as you can tell, they were written shortly after her murder. One was a week after her murder and one was 3 weeks after her murder. And I don't blame her for writing them. I can only imagine what this family has been through. It's unfortunate because Missy seemed like a wonderful person. She had such a life ahead of her. She's going to miss out on so many opportunities with her girls, which is so sad and devastating to think about. She's got 3 daughters who are moving on with life and who are becoming young women without their mother, which is just, Extremely sad to think about, especially when she was such a good, devoted mother. Whoever this person is definitely deserves to be in custody and to pay injustice for their actions, regardless if it was targeted, regardless of what could have set them off. It never justifies taking a human life. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below what your theories are and how you feel about this case. Let me know if you've heard of it before. I would love to chat with you guys, but please make sure that you're always respectful in the comments. Remember that this is a human being. This isn't just a case. This is a life. She had a family. She had children. So keep it very respectful in the comments. All right, make sure you guys subscribe if you're new around here so you don't miss next week's case. Bye, guys.